Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're gonna be teaching y'all how to install Sills lights on the Infiniti Q50. All the tools that we are gonna need for today's installation are a little knife so you can help splice your wires, crimping tools, your electrical tape. You're gonna need extra wires and also a lighter. With that being said, let's get started. So you're gonna first start by removing this panel here. All you have to do is gently pull on that panel. So once you pull on that panel, position it somewhere else. Gently lift up while pulling away from the vehicle. Once you have the OEM sill plate removed, go ahead and place it somewhere where it can be out of your way. Now you can notice it's a little bit dirty underneath there. We're gonna take care of it a little bit later. But first, let's go ahead and remove this panel below here under your glove box. Watch how he's removing it. Be gentle, be careful so you don't break the pins in the back. As you can see, they're plastic. So just be careful with them. Let them hang as you can see. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove the side. This side piece is a little bit tricky. This is a place that you actually have to take some time. Watch how Taylor does it, and you just need to pay attention to how you're removing this. Do not rush it. Take your time because if you rush it, you're gonna end up with a broken floor cover. So just be gentle with it. And there we go. Now we have it all open. Now you can see in the back, you're going to see your wires. And that's where we're going to tap into it. So the wires are going to be tightened up. And right there, you can see Taylor grabbing his knife. And with his knife, he's going to go ahead and we're going to splice the tape that's holding the connector right there. So just be gentle so you don't splice into anything else. Just splice into the tape that's holding the connector. And once you got that connector all freed out, just go ahead and gently remove it. You can pull on it gently. Just make sure you don't tear up anything or break anything or cut anything in the process. And you can see what the connector looks like. We are going to need to tap into those two wires in there. All right. And it's going to be a wire that's purple and another wire that's tan. But let's go ahead and clean this up real quick here so that our area is clean to work with since we're dealing with 3M tape. Now, once you have all that cleaned up, go ahead and take your lighter or whatever you have, crimping tool to remove or expose those copper wires. And we can see here Taylor is taking his time. Just make sure that once you have those wires exposed, make sure that they do not come in contact because if they do, you are going to blow something. You are going to blow a fuse, and we do not want that. This is supposed to be an easy job, and it is going to be an easy job. As you can see, we're doing this job with minimal tool. You can do it also at your home. Taylor is going to go ahead and splice those wires for us. He's still splicing them, as we can see. Once those wires are all spliced up, he's going to show us how we can go ahead and connect the wires. But first, let's go ahead and splice the other part as well, the other wire. Let's go ahead and expose that copper. This is a part where you have to be extremely careful so that those two wires don't touch. So if you're not comfortable with doing both at the same time, go ahead and do one side at a time. So what that means is you expose one set of wires and then you're gonna go ahead and tap into it and go ahead and seal it up with that electrical tape. And once that's done, you can move into the other side so you can avoid any electrical issue. In our case here, Taylor knows what he's doing, so he's done this a couple times by now. He's able to keep those wires separated from each other. And now we are gonna get the wires, we're gonna run the wires, and then we are gonna tap into these guys. So as we can see here, we are connecting the seal light with the extended wire that comes with the kit. And we are going to take that wire and we are going to run them underneath this little rubber seal right here. And it's going to run underneath the tunnel that's right next to the grommet. You are going to see how it's going to run it. So just be gentle how you run it so that the wire is not exposed. You are actually using the rubber piece on the wire itself. And when you're pushing it down, just be gentle also so that you do not chop off the wires. And once you have all of that settled down, go ahead and put your rubber grommets back or your rubber seals back in place. And once they are in place, just make sure you give them a little ooga dooga to make sure they're snug. And now we are looking into passing the wire underneath the tunnel so that we can route it towards the door seal plug where we are going to tap into this wire. Make sure to leave a little bit of extra wires towards the back because you are going to need it. So here goes the wires. Remember, guys, so we're going to put red with the purple and black with tan. So again, it's going to be red with purple, black with tan. Don't mix them up and make sure they do not come in contact while you're doing this so that you don't blow up a fuse once again. So now that we have our one side of the wire done, we're gonna go ahead and take electrical tape and we are going to tape that sucker down. So you do the same thing and also just make sure that you tape them properly. So make sure that you tape them tight enough so that there's no moisture that can seep in there or so that they don't come loose anytime soon. And when you do it on this side, as you can see, feel free to go ahead and do it on the other side. So once we do it on this side, it's the same process for the other side. Just go ahead and tape the other side as well. And the beautiful thing about this part right here as it is most exciting because we are able to tell that it is functional. We have not blown the fuse and the light is working as you can see here. Those are blue, but these lights do come in various colors. You can have them in blue, you can have them in RGB, you can have them in red, and you can also have them in white. So if you need more information on that, go ahead and contact Joe, who is the owner of one of the Q50 group on Facebook and also on Instagram. This video has been sponsored by Joe. Thank you so much for providing us with these lights and so that we can show everybody how to install them. It's a very simple install. As you can see, we got them all tucked in there. And now we are going to go ahead and put that back panel back in and also just be gentle again when you're putting it back in so that you don't snap any clip or you don't break anything like that. And once you have that panel back in, just give it a little quick snug dog to make sure, just give it a little tap right there to make sure that it's snug and it's not moving. This right here, you are going to come and tap the back right there. So you need to leave that little slack right there. Don't cut it off. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove the 3M protective so that we can go ahead and tape this down and start to move forward with our install. Very easy as you can see. It's something that can take you less than 30 minutes per side once you know what you're doing. So we're making sure that we are putting it down and just make sure that you remove the film, the protective film that keeps the plate from getting scuffed in transit. So remove that film. As you can see, it's super shiny, super reflective. And man, that feeling of removing that film, it's so amazing. All right, now that we have that, as we can see outside view, now putting this guy back, make sure you pay attention to those two pins. Pay attention to this. Don't break them again. Just be gentle. You will look all the way in the back. You will see right there to your left and to your right. That's where those are going to go. You saw those little white clips right there. Just press them gently into those little hole. And then you are going to tighten up things back up in there. Make sure they go back in and they fit properly, and then all you have to do is press gently and it should stick up there. And once that's done, you're going to make sure that you pull your seats forward to allow you to access the pillar, the center pillar, because we're going to need to remove some of the plastic out there. As you can see, our rear is undone and now we have to remove this beautiful little piece of plastic right here. This one you have to be extra super gentle because it goes underneath your seat. You just gotta spend some time on it, wiggle it, lift your seat and wiggle it. It will come out, I promise. Just be patient with it. And while you're wiggling it, just lift towards you so that that clip can actually get released. As you can see here, Taylor is getting that bad boy and he's going to lift towards him one more time. And that's how it's gonna pop out right about there. Once you have that, this is the center pillar that I was referring to. So just give it a quick ooga dooga. You can be gentle with it also, and that should be no problem. It's very easy to come out. So make sure you do both sides, the front side and the rear side. And here you are going to start removing the OEM seal. And as you can see, it's a little bit tight to pull, but you can do this with your fingers and it's very easy. Now with this one, you can see there is a little bit of that little square to the right there. That square is going to stay exposed. What we notice is that you're going to have to buy a grommet that goes in there, and you can look at those at any auto store. Just figure out the size and go out there. We didn't really take the time to go through it just because it didn't bother us. We wanted to install these lights and show you guys how to install them as they're easy. So just make sure now the clip is getting in there. It's snug, and that's the same way that we did it with the front clip, right? So we're just making sure it's in there, and we're gonna run that wire end of the tunnel all the way to the front. And this wire is gonna get connected all the way with that slack that we left out there. Now we're just gonna go ahead and peel our 3M and then get ready to start placing our new and beautiful plates down. Here we go. Now we have that little spot to the left. As you can see, it doesn't really bother us, but if it's going to bother you, you can buy that little piece at an auto store. Now that we have everything in, we are just going to run it down the tunnel all the way to the front. Again, this is just a tedious process. Just take your time, run it through, make sure that the wires don't get pinched or stuck anywhere. And this part is a little bit tricky, but you just gotta feed it through that tunnel and just have faith. By the time you come out there, and there you go, this is where you gotta go and find it. Once you find that wire, just pull on it, pull on it, pull on it, pull on it, and it's gonna come out. Eventually, it's gonna come out. Sometimes you gotta go and chase the rabbit down the rabbit hole, but it's not a big deal. So now that we have that wire exposed, as we can see it right there, we're gonna go ahead and splice that wire, splice it up a little bit so that you can expose the copper a little bit more, because we are going to need to cut more wire, which is the additional wire that we had at the beginning of the video, and attach it to this piece that we are about to splice. So again, just be careful. Again, take your time. Don't cut your fingers. And we have our little flamethrower. So we're just gonna burn the tip off, and here he's got the copper wire exposed, and we are gonna merge it right there. So we need to measure the wires. We're gonna get our red wire, and we also have a black wire. We're gonna get our red wire, get it out of the roll, just get enough out so that we don't unroll everything, and then we are going to measure the length where we are going to make the connection of the wire. If you have a long wire, you can do it with one single wire. We had to do this way. And then here we go. We're just going to go ahead and cut that wire. We're going to use it. We're going to go ahead and cut it right there where we measure it. We're going to take our black wire. We're going to measure it also. And then we are going to cut it identically with the red one. And once you cut those wires, Just go ahead and splice them. You can use a splicer in this case because this wire was a little thicker gauge, which we use here, which was, I believe, a 6 gauge. We're just splicing the wires. And once we have those wires spliced, we are going to connect the red and the red. So you're just going to go old-fashioned way. Like we say, you don't need that many tools to get it done. You can do this on in your driveway, red with red. And once that's done, you're going to go ahead and get the black, black with black. And don't forget your tape. Go ahead and tape those guys up. Once you're done taping them up, you are all good to go. Just go ahead and put the back piece back together the same way you took it out. And then that's it right there for us.